Thanks everybody for coming. We're going to call our meeting to order. It is 6:32. We'll begin with the invocation and the pledge. God of love, we trust you with all our heart and lean not on our own understanding. We acknowledge you in all our ways and in all our meetings so that you will direct our paths. Father, we do not rely on ourselves for effective results, for we are only human and often make mistakes. It is you who knows all things. So, Father, have your divine way in this meeting. We ask your protection over the multitude of volunteers and responders who are now and have been giving tirelessly to help rescue and recover flood victims in Texas and across our country. Please comfort the families and communities of those lost to us, but who are now with you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, item 3 on our agenda is public comments. Ms. Julie, do we have any speakers today?
We do. We have 2 public speakers. The first one is John Maxwell.
Good evening, Mayor Boudreau and City Council members. My name is John Maxwell. I'm the Executive Director of Enrollment Management for Lamar CISD. If you don't know, you will have parts of your community in Lamar CISD. Lamar CISD makes up 385 square miles, and if you don't know, we have some people moving into the area. We have currently 98 active subdivisions being built in our school district. We will be averaging 2,000 to 3,000 new students every year for the next 15 to 20 years. And so, just so you guys are aware, that is now my job. I get to work through all of the different communities, recommending new school zones, recommending where new school buildings are needed to have happen. Just so you know, our demographer report tells us that we're going to need approximately 26 new schools in the next 6 years. Wow. Yes, wow. So, I just want you guys to know that LCIC also covers 15 different municipalities, which means 15 different rules, 15 different sets of how we work with government entities. But I want you to know that we're wanting to partner. We want to make sure that this is an area that people want to work, live, play, and learn. And so that is my job, is to try to help connect all the different 15 municipalities that we cover in LCISD, because we care for every kid and every family that comes into the community. I have already met your mayor before at some different meetings, but I'm out here trying to make sure that we're collaborative, we're sharing information. I'll be happy to share with you all the demographers' reports. We're going to have those quarterly, and they change quite often and quite quickly. If you just take a drive, you see it. And if you drive all of our areas, it's not just in the Fulshire, in the Simonton area. Like I said, we have developments that are happening down 5969, Austin Point. If you haven't heard of that one, that is going to bring 50,000 new residents into our district. And we have 3 developments that are over 3,000 acres, which average about 7,000 families in those developments. I don't get much sleep at night. But I do want to leave you with my business card that has my contact information. I hope you reach out. I want to make this a partnership and share any data that I can with you, so you can corroborate that data with yours to see what's happening in your area. If you have information to share with the district, I'm very much open to that. If you'd like to set up quarterly meetings to go over things, to discuss things, I want to make that happen. I want to just be as transparent as possible to help out the community, because again, I think you guys and the school district have the same in mind. We want to have the residents want to be here, enjoy being here, and have a great experience, especially with the schools. So thank you guys for letting me talk. And I'm just going to pass business cards.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I have an offer to you.
Okay.
I was in Katy for 12 years.
Yes, sir.
On the board, president 3 times. I know a lot about Katy's growth from 28,000 to 80,000, experiencing pretty much the same thing. Maybe not as much acreage being devoted, but single ranches took care of everything, right? So, if anything I can do to help you to understand what they went through, and if you don't have any context there, I'll certainly have somebody who would like them.
Yes, sir. It's
Help you get through this, because it's a job.
It is. I started my career in KDISD. I worked there from 2003 to 2016. I feel like I'm going through deja vu all over again.
So I was there.
Yes, sir. You were. I worked my way up. I started as an elementary teacher, taught every grade level, all the way up through high school. Then I went to technology integration, curriculum and instruction, school improvement. Basically, I just couldn't hold a job.
You worked for some magnificent
I did. I worked with some amazing people. Went to Clear Creek in League City, and now I'm in Lamar. Love Lamar. Love this entire area. I'm originally from Wisconsin, but I've been in Texas for 23 years, so I can't claim that anymore. Summers down here are still brutal, but way better than 42 degrees below zero. which I have seen. So I'll give you my business cards. Please don't hesitate to reach out. I'll get back to you in less than 24 hours, I promise. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, Dr. Maxwell.
We have another public comment from
Amen.
Eamon O'Neill.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, good evening. I'm here to warn the town of Simonton against any future development coming here. As we all know, a massive flood hit Kerrville and its surrounding areas, causing a massive loss of life. Camp Mystic, which was devastated by this disaster, was located between the Guadalupe River and a creek which flowed into it. Simonton is in a very similar geographical location in that it has the Brazos River west and south of it, and Bessie's Creek north and east of it. Any developments which would eliminate wet grass, which holds floodwater for concrete foundations, would cause similar flooding. This community was hit hard by Hurricane Harvey 8 years ago. The next flood is not a matter of if, but when. I hope the landowners are backed by y'all here and want to keep their livelihoods. We hear a lot about diversity here. I hope that people who want a rural life in this part of Fort Bend County, a county which has seen excessive developments in recent years. Simonton does not need to change. I was very impressed with how this community spoke out against the concrete batch plants a few years back. I hope this community will tell the greedy developers not to develop. This place is fine the way it currently is. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Mr. O'Neill. Would you mind to give us your street address?
6603 Indian Grass Lane, Katy. Surrounded by development, by the way. A lot of traffic.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you bet.
That ends public comments.
Okay, great. Thank you. Item 4, consider and take action on the consent agenda. Council, items A, B, and C are not in your packet because they are not ready. So we will have that for you at the next meeting. Those are minutes from 3 meetings that were held in June, between the 17th and the 27th. What remains then in the consent agenda are items D, E, and F, which are the payment report, the council report, and the revenue and expense report, all for the month of April.
Madam,
Eric, did you have something you wanted to pull from the consent?
all three, please.
Okay. We'll start with item D, the monthly payment report, which is income. Although it's called a payment report, it's an income report. What's your question?
I unfortunately have 7 questions, and I'll absolutely allow anybody to interrupt to ask their question.
Well, let's take them one at a time.
Okay.
On the
Was
income report.
it created with FundView or by yourself and Julie?
This was created by FundView.
Okay. And what I'm looking at is the permit payment equals 1970 and has 15 items. General deposits have 19 items and 39,322.63 for a total of 41,292. When you look at the payment permit listing, there are not 15 items, there are 8. And on one item, am I asking to in right now, or should I wait?
Well, how about,
Julie,
let's let Julie answer it as we go then.
Okay, that's fine.
Are these questions regarding the report?
Yes, ma'am.
Regarding this income report? Okay. If I can't answer them, I'm going to ask you to send me an email and then I'll respond regarding that.
Okay. So, did you get the first one that said there are 15 items on the permit payments list, but there are only 8 listed on the permit payment GL numbers?
Okay, because it is combined, so some payments are grouped into different categories. I think we've discussed this previously. So if we have a building permit, I'm just throwing this as an example, 4032, that could include 2 payments. I can give you a more specific printout of each payment that has been received, but that's a request that needs to come in before council.
So under permit payment category, where it lists the different GL numbers, that's saying that this bucket took in this much money.
Right.
So there could be more than one deposit into building a permit. For temporary structure, there could be more than one for residential electrical.
Okay.
Event sponsorships, there could have been, let's say there's 5 in that bucket. So the number in permanent payment, that just tells you the different GL codes,
Yes.
not necessarily how many transactions. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you. The next question on the same list, permit payment, is that the event sponsorship, general revenue 4650 has a $250 item on it, but there's 200 listed as the actual payment. Was there a discount?
No, there's not a discount. That's an event sponsorship. The line item is set up for roughly $250, but they only sent in a $200 check. It's a sponsorship. So I can go back and pull which specific sponsorship it is, but they may have opted to reduce to 200.
It's not necessary, but if we took is 250 required to be on here?
That's how the line item was set up as a default, but we can adjust that if you would like to
We can
remove
just
it.
change the name of the account, the GL, to remove that if it's,
Because
remove
it's-
some confusion.
Right, because the other one right below it has $500 on it with the same GL number, so those could make it confusing for someone trying to figure this out. Appreciate it. Okay, so the same count total listed for general deposit, I imagine is the same answer, that you have multiple things entered on GL line items.
Correct.
Which is why that total doesn't equal. I accept that. But when you add up the 39,322, 63, and the 1970 from the top, the total I get is 41,292.63. It's also the same total if you add payment type 2 figures together. They match.
Yeah.
Take this and add that.
Okay, what's your next question while I kind of do some calculations?
Okay,
Because
so-
these are things that
So the next
address
question,
in advance, I can have an answer for you.
Julia, the next question has to do with the resulting answer of those two additions, and that is, how do you bring these totals into the general ledger totals on cash due from consolidated cash? When you add that plus the 100, you get 41,284, which doesn't reconcile to 41,292. And if you take the credit side and you add it all up, you get 41,344.08. And the only way you can ever make those all match is if you take the $60 from Keep Simonton Beautiful, put it on both sides, and the $100 from petty cash and put it on both sides. In my mind. Now, I'm not a CPA, so please, feel free.
Do you have further questions on this report, Eric?
Well, I don't know if it's a question, Madam Mayor, and you can tell me to not ask that now and ask it later, but the resultant of this is that the funds and everything accounted for here all come from transactions. And transactions are made with UFERS, with Wallace Bank, et cetera, that all of this comes from. And we have no accounting or list of ACH transactions that validate all this. So is that?
Well, so this is all income.
I don't know if that's a request. That is income that I'm talking about, ACH transactions, or both income and moves of money.
So,
Okay, say more, Eric, because this is
Okay.
not, to me, I'm thinking ACH is payments out,
Oh,
but it could be electronic for payments in, I guess, is
Yes.
that's what you're
Yes.
asking
we
about?
receive credits electronically, correct?
Yes.
So you're asking for a payment list every single month of every ACH that we receive electronically?
That would be ideal.
Okay,
No.
well, ideal would be to have more staff as well.
Okay, if that's a request, Madam Mayor, take
So-
that as a request, please.
I'll be bringing it back to you, for sure.
I do realize.
In your revenue.
You are, I'm sorry, I do realize she is part-time. I do realize a lot of these questions are asking a lot from you, and you even have been on vacation for a while, so, and I do also realize that the mayor's here by herself and not having much help. So even with that said, it is still our duty to question these things.
I 100% agree, but some of these questions I would appreciate if you send in advance. That way I can be prepared for your answers versus on spot, because you're asking me to do calculations and give you details on spot.
I 100% agree with your request, but here's what I would say. You don't give this enough time for me to do that.
I gave this one early, actually, because I gave this before I left on vacation.
To me?
It was sent to all of council on Friday.
Right. Right. Okay.
Okay. So I will get your answers answered when I do calculations. I'm not on the spot.
Madam Mayor, I
Any
think I'm done with that.
Okay, any other council members have comments or questions about the payment report, income report? All right, do we have a motion?
I move that we table the income report until questions are asked.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Great, moving on to item E, the monthly council report. This one is actually payments out. Eric, since you asked to have it pulled from consent, do you want to tell us what your question is?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Flip right through it.
If you would, tell us a page number
Yes, I will.
when you get to it, though.
Yeah, this one is kind of long. One is a request because we have so many items listed on the project for LGA engineering. The request is if the project's not complete, can we get a final report on all invoices and payments? So that was a big
It's not
need.
closed out yet, but as soon as we do,
Okay.
for sure, we'll have that for you.
Okay. Okay. On the page 2, there are items listed for employee contributions and dental, vision, health, et cetera, et cetera. How many employees were we covering in April?
One.
Well, it seems to be 2.
It's one.
Per payroll cycle.
Okay, so when it says 2.5 and 2.5, 110, 165 on a line item for Blue Cross Blue Shield, is that one person 2 times on its PIP?
No, that's the employee portion plus the city portion.
Can we state that on here in the future?
We cannot. This is automated generated through, unless you want to go in and change each description onto fund view to your verbiage, we can change it, but that's the employee, which is the health, and then the employer portion.
In our agreement with, since we only had the one employee, I can share that the city pays 60%, the employee pays 40%. So you can always tell that the city portion is the greater of the two.
And it may be
If
the ER
that's-
stands for the employer, but I would have to go back and verify that description of ER,
Yeah, I think EE is employee and ER
employer.
is for employer.
So just from a clarity standpoint, though, I don't know that we should or have to change the description, but the point is that we have 2, 3, 4 employees. How could anybody know who's making what and how much we're paying for anyone?
Well, we can always
both-
run a
in both-
report by employee anytime you were to ask, anytime
Excellent.
council were to ask.
Okay, and so that report will include all costs and benefits, et cetera.
Depends on what you ask for, what you'd like to look at, and we can customize it to whatever we're trying to answer.
Okay.
So you want to know what
Each
per
of-
cost per employee every time?
Not necessarily, Councilman, but the point is that if we're ever going to have to adjust the amount we pay someone, if we're ever going to have to look at the total cost of ownership of having an employee, you always look at everything, the cost, the benefits,
Sure.
Everything you pay, right? I mean,
But not during.
not every month.
Right.
But if it's automatically done, and FundView is supposed to be that type of program to help us discern,
This is going to combine, if you had 2, 3, 4, 5 employees, which would be great, it's going to group it as an employee portion and an employer portion because it's a liability for payroll. So it's only going to create one entry versus entry per individual. Now, if you want to run a report of which each person is paying, that's a separate report, but that's not going to be provided to
Okay.
council. Maybe during budget, but not to council, but you should have an idea. If it's 165, you're going to have to multiply that average of 12 to get your budget.
I accept that we have employee reports of fund requests, and hopefully that's not abused.
Okay?
Okay? Madam Mayor?
Is that it for this report?
Oh, is that all right, what I just said?
What
Employee reports of fund requests, which is what I think.
reports
all-
upon request, correct.
All right, flipping through. On page 6, we have, under technology, we have a bill from T-Mobile and a bill from AT&T. I can't tell that one is for telephones, and I would imagine it is, and the other one's for what, a dedicated circuit line or telephones also?
T-Mobile is hotspots for emergency operation use.
Okay,
It's a backup, it's a redundant system.
excellent.
And AT&T in technology is mobile phones and tablets. I don't think we have any tablets still on it, but the mobile phones.
How many?
3.
You have 3. No, yes, you have 3.
Okay. I've gone down the same page, the Eddie Peacock account reconciliation adjustments and charges for that. The question is, how does this affect audits? And does it affect audits? I would think an auditor.
So Peacock is, since they're a CPA, have a certified CPA and appropriate staff, their expertise is helping us do monthly reconciliations and preparation work for audit so that it's ongoing all year long and things are in appropriate shape for an audit. They also work directly with our auditor at Breedlove to answer questions, provide information, look through FundView together if the auditor has a
So
information request.
Okay, so he has direct access to FundView?
They do.
He could,
Excuse me?
Peacock does have direct access to funding.
that's correct.
We were
So like
told-
they do payroll,
Okay, we were told by the technology department that no one outside of here has access to the servers, et cetera, and information.
They have
All right.
view only and are able to do journal entries and to reconcile our bank statements. When we contracted with Peacock, it was an agreement, they are going to do our checks and balances and our reconciliations. So the only way for that to take place is for them to have access to FundView.
And they're in.
so they do not trigger payments.
They do not trigger.
They don't initiate or trigger payments. I think that's what you're talking about. We were
Kind of.
saying they don't have access or approval to do any of
If you're
that.
asking for New First, they do not, they have view only on New First. They do not have any authority to do anything other than view.
I didn't ask them first, I asked FundView.
FundView, they have access.
Okay. The next one is a touchy subject, I'll say. So Madam Mayor, I'll offer you to come walk over here and see, and then tell me if you just refer, we're going to do this in a closed session, or just go ahead and say.
I don't know, okay.
Right here. The question is, Ann, this is,
Go ahead and say, it. Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
public information.
thank you. Going down the list, there is a consulting item, listing
It's still on page 6.
I'm sorry,
For
still page
social media.
6, third from the bottom, social media payment. The first question is, do we have a description of services or a contract
Yes,
per hour?
we do.
Okay. I guess I'm requesting a copy. And then,
For social media?
yes,
Okay.
and then the other question is, were there any additional benefits provided, such as travel and expense for media conference?
The payment that you're looking at is for a monthly contract.
Understood.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know what you're asking. Say more about it.
Okay, so we had previously questions of whether or not a travel and expense done by either former employees or not, I don't know who, was done for a media conference in Reno. I've never got.
So we have a budget for travel and expense for staff, could be used for our media consultant if we wanted to.
For a consultant.
In this, I don't remember if it was last month or if
I think it's.
it's in here, but there is a media conference that was attended virtually this year. I think it was in previous months.
It was
But, so,
March.
we paid for that to be attended by 3 people. So I attended it, Abby attended it, and we paid for Nancy more, but she left at that same time, so she did not.
It was virtual.
So it was virtual, there was no travel for that. I don't know if that's what you're asking.
Well, yeah, well, that's what I was asking. So there's no travel,
So
it's
the
all virtual.
previous
Three people.
training that you were talking about, the conference,
Right.
that was in a different budget year with a different council, but that was approved by council before anybody enrolled for those events. And so if we were to do that again, we certainly would make sure, number one, it's in the budget, and number two, that council is on board
Okay.
when people are traveling.
Okay, thank you.
I think it's a little off the
On
subject,
page-
but forgive me for that.
On page 7, very petty, but I'm going to ask it anyway. There's a phone case for $16.98. Somebody needed a phone case.
It's right here on the cell phone.
So you don't drop it. All right.
Oh, I will drop it, but that way I'm protecting the city asset.
Okay, and on advertising and marketing, last question. It goes with the first one, but also on the marketing question. On page 9 at the bottom, very bottom. So I know we do a live video, and is it posted anywhere else? Is it kept, recorded, and saved?
So we do live. It's posted on our social media page, so anybody could go back and look at it at some other time if they wanted to.
Is it
Is that what you're
categorized on our
asking?
webpage? It's categorized on our webpage. I
It's
can pull it up on the
linked.
webpage.
Abby, help me. I don't know if you go to the actual webpage.
Okay, so we're not
You can go
sure.
to social media and it gives you the path. I think I've done that before.
I haven't been able to find the product.
But
So I guess my question is, if it's retained and available as a FOIA or whatever, then I'm okay with it. And is the answer
it
yes?
is, yes.
And maybe Abby can find out.
Yeah.
Let us know. Appreciate it. And that's it on this.
While we're discussing this specific report, the council report, any other council members have questions or comments? Do we have a motion on the council report?
On this particular one?
Yes.
I make the motion to approve. Second.
Thank you, Andy and Justin. Any further discussion? All in favor?
I have no problem approving as long as the questions are taken.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. All right, item 4F, the monthly revenue and expense report. Eric,
Okay.
what's your question?
So item 4F, first page. And I might have added this on the previous one, but on public safety, you have a balance remaining of a negative, and on facilities, a balance remaining of a negative. And the question would be, does this require a budget amendment, or how do we balance that?
We will make a budget amendment before the end of the year, and any categories that need an adjustment, we'll make it all at one time. Council will do that.
Okay, and then the next question is on prior year, fiscal year ending balances. How are those validated? Or is it just money left over at the end of a fiscal year? Is that what that really is?
Basically, yes.
Basically, what?
Complicated formula to get there, but yes, at the end of the fiscal year, if we haven't spent the entire budget, whatever is left is money left. And that's why you can see how you ended the year last year. We keep record of it, and that's why we use fund accounting also, that you can see every bucket and where it was, what was not spent, what was. That also helps us as we get ready to end our budget season in August. Like, okay, it looks like we didn't spend all the money in this category, do we need it there? You know, we talk about every item in every category and what's anticipated.
I'm sure looking forward to that one.
It's going to be amazing.
Okay, next. Next on page 2. The sales tax for roads, EDC, you have $0.25 going to sales and property tax, 4011, and then you have the same figure going to 4013, EDC for A. Is that saying that in addition to the $0.25 that they already get, they're also going to get the other $0.25? It's the same amount.
No, say
Okay.
it again? I didn't follow you.
As I list this, and I'm looking at sales and property taxes,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go down to the 4011, 1/4 sales tax for roads,
Right.
dedicated for roads.
Yeah,
That money belongs to the city, does it not?
it does.
Okay.
But it's earmarked for road projects. So it does not belong to the EPC, it's separate.
I understand. So
Okay.
you're marked for roads, and in a budget, it will be dedicated to roads. Okay. Who else has any budget for roads?
If the council decides to allocate money in the new budget or whichever budget for roads, then the city does.
So
This is
that-
an income line,
I understand.
4%, and the decision was made long ago that that would be dedicated for road work.
I think that's
Something to
actually,
come into the coffers for roads.
someday we'll get that done. So honestly, the same figure then, because it's still $0.25 for the
Right.
C4A. So they get the same amount. And then on the EDCs, the prior year ending balance is all zero. So there was nothing left over last year on the EDC 4A.
Not in those categories. So the year-to-date, the prior year balance is there on the next to the last column on the right.
Mhm.
And the fiscal year end for unspent funds should be on that line, Eric, and I know that we've addressed that, and I'm trying to roll back my memory. I'll have to get you the answer for that one.
Okay. Appreciate it. It's just that we're trying to really, we have people now like Justin and Kevin and Troy to try to make progress on these things, and we have a lot that we'd like to have done right now.
That's right.
And just I'd like to make
It's kind of like that financial report that I gave last month that showed each committee and how much money they have, and where it is, and what kind of account it's in. So the money is accounted there. Why it's not on this fund view recap, I don't know, but I'll find that out.
Okay, so is it the intent that Fund View covers any and all monies that the city and anyone else has? That it actually accounts for all of it in Fund View?
Yes, we should be able to go to fund view and look at the bank. Here's what our balance is in the transactions, but you should also be able to go to fund view and see all the detail about if there was a transaction, where was it, why was it, what date was it paid, how much money went to X, Y, and Z for all the accounts.
And all of that's important because an audit would be very easy to do if everything is presented and available. Okay, so if fund view is a 100% balance to monies in You First and monies in Wallace, that would be everywhere we have money. Should we not be able to compare that? Yes, in an overall.
Yes, you should be able to compare.
Okay. I'll just make that.
And that's what the auditor does and is doing, to make sure that what's paid, what checks we wrote, bills that were due, and then what came out of the bank account or went in, that matches.
And so that auditor would then have to have access to every ACH ever done. In order to
Let me
validate.
make a correction. Peacock is not the auditor. Peacock reconciles the account.
That's right.
Breedlove is the auditor. There's two separate companies that we're speaking.
Right.
But Peacock does not audit, they reconcile.
Okay.
So the
understood.
auditor, Eric, they don't actually have access to the bank. What they do is they send a request for information, we authorize it, and then they send that request for information to each financial institution that we do business with.
Mhm.
And they return back the reporting directly to her. We're not in it, we don't see it. She then has a clean,
What? Oh, clean.
my
I thought you
word,
said
clean,
clean.
like, copy that comes directly from the financial institution, and then she compares that back to our records.
Okay. But if we don't see it, we don't need to see it.
We don't
It's all
see it.
in balance. If it's not in balance, they need to tell us.
Correct.
All right.
And if there's a question, then that's where the auditor comes back and asks us, what about this, this, or this?
So you and I and Angela at one time said we were going to go visit the Day First, do you remember? In line with getting information from them that I asked
I
questions.
don't know about going to their, we said we're going to their office, but we have them here, and they're happy to come out
Again?
if we have something else we want to do.
Okay. And I'll send a requested meeting directly. And the list of questions every night.
So is that all the items for this revenue expense report?
Give me one second. I think that the amounts I'm seeing for CDARS and budget balance remaining and interest, since this is a revenue and expense report, we have an expense that's a negative, which should mean that it's a revenue instead of an expense. Julie, the negative on this report is actually a positive.
What line item are you on?
Okay, 4619, interest new first ICS.
It's on page 3.
On page, sorry, thank you. Where we,
And what is your question again?
my question is, the 1878.77 shown as a negative is actually a positive
Correct.
income, not a negative expense.
Correct. So you'll see, for example, that we budgeted that we would take in $250, and we've taken in $3,654.83.
Oh, wow.
So we're taking in more money in that category than we thought that we would when we wrote the budget. So that's why
Oh,
the
you're on-
negative is a
okay,
positive.
You're on interest, other else, yes, all of them have the same answer. All of them
That's
are
right.
negative.
I just took the first line of the
Yeah.
category. But yes, that's why all of those
Okay, thank you for that.
indicate that.
And you said all of the budget amendments required are going to be made all at one time. Office, we're going to talk about technology tonight. So office and expense technology,
What page?
page 4, item 1, office supplies 10-5030. Okay? Year-to-date expense so far is $22,000. The budget was $9,000, so what you're saying is we're going to need a budget amendment, and we'll do it later.
We are going to make a budget amendment. That line was also adjusted after the budget was passed. There was a budget amendment that was made in October, I think the 22nd or the 24th last year.
Yes, but
And we took money from technology and moved it into two other categories so that we could move phone and internet into categories of their own out of the big bucket of technology.
Okay.
So one thing that Julie and I are going through is making sure the items that are charged to technology now follow that guidance that we set when we amended the budget. I didn't see any red flags in there, but one thing I can say is FundView
And
Impress. So our annual contract with Impress is $11,000. We only budgeted $9,000. So there's already an error that we didn't catch when we made the budget amendment, so there certainly will be an adjustment. I couldn't tell you today what that dollar amount is, but Julie and I are working on that.
Okay. And the other thing that stands out, of course, is the accounting and audit fees on the legal and professional line item 5252, under 10. And we have 33,000 spent out of 59,000 budgeted, which is a pretty good amount for audit. I mean, that's a large fee. We had over years to do, right?
A significant amount of that has to do with hiring Peacock to do so much more accounting work than we expected, or, we were making a best estimate at the time of the budget.
Okay. So it was
But we're
increased.
not over budget, but that's
Yes, but
That's
we're halfway
something
through the year,
much.
and we're at 43%, so it might balance out.
What is the deal? 52, 52?
Yeah, 10, 52, 52.
Okay, and then the attorney fees. We all know attorney fees, they're expensive and obviously used quite a bit. We had a budget of 75, and we have 62 remaining. I find that to be low based on all the conversations everybody's having. No, not low in fees, just low.
I'm just teasing.
Okay, just low in reconciliation, because, I mean, this is saying we only spent $12,000 in attorney fees.
Correct.
We worked really hard on that. We worked really hard on that here.
Wait, I charge you individually much more.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that's
go-
not real.
I'm going to go back to the question regarding 5252 and just go ahead and answer it. Your $33,172.62 is going to consist of 2 invoices from Breedlove. Year-end 22 was $17,855.31. Year-end 23 was $15,000.
I'm sorry, I gotta write this down so you go.
Okay.
Yeah, the bid's low, 17,000
$17,855.31.
for year,
22.
okay?
Year 23 was $15,317.31. Grand total is $33,172.62. Both transactions were paid and approved by council on 12/17/2024.
17.
Peacock fees come out of consulting, which is going to be 5258.
Thank you for the correction,
You're
Julie.
welcome.
Appreciate that.
No problem.
Peacock fees out of the 5258 consulting fee?
Correct.
So again, it has a negative on the current month expense. Is that a positive? Somebody give us a rebate.
What page are you looking on?
Same page,
Just page 4.
258.
We're talking 52, 58 to 51,000?
Yes, sir. Is that,
5252 shows 33,172, and we budgeted,
No,
oh, 58,
sorry.
I'm so sorry. So let me look at 58.
okay.
Yeah.
I thought we were still on 52, I apologize.
While she's
You
looking at
answered that one.
this is also only through April 30th.
This is all
I'm saying.
So you were
April.
elected in May, so you started calling me in May.
So
Oh,
Nice.
consulting, through 4/30, which I selected, we have spent
That one does look like could be an error on that category. the current month?
It's because we moved the pay app we voided the pay app, so I'm wondering if that had something to do with it.
The pay app is payment towards the construction of the ARPA project.
You moved it up,
I think it was in the wrong
We
category.
voided
moved
it
to
and
its correct
transferred,
category.
so.
so his category is consulting? Or is that to give the money back?
Right, we took it away from consulting.
It was an error and we moved it.
So there should be another entry somewhere for 51,123.75.
Let me get back to you after I reconcile this regarding the consulting, and I can give you a description per date and per transaction that was paid out of the account.
Appreciate that.
But there was some voids to move them to the right category.
So, Madam Mayor, in order to prevent me asking so many questions, if there are things that come up like that, Julie, that you find yourself as far as maybe, well, this might be a mistake, could you just send it out to us and let us know that we're going to make an adjustment?
I cannot commit to that. With the amount of workload that I have, I cannot commit
Go back to
to
that.
I think,
sending additional
understand.
emails.
I think the remedy is if you compile your questions and then let's talk about it and see which ones I can answer. We certainly can give a briefing to everybody so that they're aware. But a lot of this is how to read the report. So
So-
if we have if this is really an error, it would be great if we could come to the meeting and say, Eric pointed out an error on line 12, and here's the remedy. So everybody could hear what the resolution is about that.
That sounds good, except that the public doesn't know anything about that we're making mistakes.
I'm not saying it needs to be a secret that there are mistakes, but you have also asked lots of questions that are not errors, but it's how to read the report type of thing. And so if we address those as we go, then we wouldn't have to have that kind
You're
of
saying
question.
I don't know how to read the report, but I am reading the report, actually. I'm just asking questions on the values that are placed in the budget.
Okay.
It's a little bit different. Okay, so last thing, I think it's the last, no, sorry, page 5, 105540 and 105541, transfers to EDC 4A, 4B, current month and year-to-date are zero. Is that correct?
Transfer.
In April, y'all have no money transferred to you. Is
We have
that-
to transfer it out in
No, this is a revenue and expense. You had revenue in this month for sure because we're taxed and give it to you. And this is reported somewhere else.
So if you saw the income on separate.
This is an expense page.
I understand. So if you want to treat that there was an expense to transfer out, then that has to balance to the transfer in, due to the income. Does it not? No, Julie? Does not.
understand your question.
If I'm understanding your question, the answer is no, and we can discuss, and if you don't like the answer, we can get Fund View to explain it to you as well, the fund accounting bucket. But from my understanding, the answer is no.
Well, the only reason I ask is we have negative figures that you said are actually revenue and not an expense. And now we have zero, and I don't have a negative figure that says it's revenue or an amount that says it's an expense.
Okay.
And with it being a revenue expense report, I'll yield to you to get us the answer.
If you want to carve out some time, we can set up a conference with FundView, and they can go into detail of explaining this report, and you can hear it from the source itself. So we're going to have to carve out that time and set an appointment with FundView, and I'll be more than happy to do that with you.
Okay? And please invite anyone else who might want to attend.
Sure. You tell me when, and I'll see if I'm available.
No, I'm talking about them, the
Okay,
council. Okay, and the next one was a budget amendment we said we're going to do on page 7. For capital, we have no budgeted figure for current year budget. We have $159,000 left over from prior year, and that's for capital improvement. And could you tell me what's in capital improvement?
I don't want to tell you that off the top of my head, Eric. We worked on, when we did the budget last year and we did the budget amendment, on money that's encumbered for various projects that are been approved by previous councils. So I can't tell you that off the top of my head, but we certainly could go back and look up
Well, I
why
guess,
it's budgeted that way.
Yeah.
This report doesn't tell you which funds are encumbered in the previous year ending.
so
It's just the feature
as
of
we
this
enter the
report.
budget year, I think that might become important, right? To know that there are certain things are encumbered, we can't do anything about it.
100%, and that's included in the budget
So-
development workshop.
Well, that'll be during the budget,
That's right.
not during the council meeting.
I'm sorry, this is a report that needs to be questioned at times.
No, I didn't see you needed to question it, but these numbers right here, you're gonna get it when we go in the budget.
Well, that's good. That's a good answer.
Right.
But it doesn't explain what's in capital improvement.
So
So-
far, and I'll just give you a brief, we have Low Ortega, some LJA, but if you would like to go into more detail, I'll be more than happy to pull up each line item and send you over reports, but again, like, send me a request, I'll send you the detailed transactions for each line item.
So the reason for these
So,
questions,
if I may, while she's given some detail about the question you asked, Lo Ortega is the architect who did the design for the ARPA project here. The LJA invoices that would be paid as part of capital improvement are related to the engineering services provided as part of the ARPA project.
And then we had Eduardo, I mean, there's some.
Eduardo was the painting of the exterior of the building, so that's why in those line items, that capital improvement line
okay,
item.
so that's fine. Would they not also be in a payment report, right? We paid?
Yes, they have been in payments reports as they were paid over time.
All right, and thanks for that. And yes, I will take you up on that. Now, all the way to page 11, other expenses, item 10, 5530, contingency. It has current year budget of $77,000 in contingency, which we have to have for contingency. My question then is that invested in ICS or in CDARs? Where does that get invested?
Julie, would you mind to look this item up, 5330? And see if-
5530.
I'm sorry, 5530. And see if you can see the notes about the $77,000. I think it's specific to the project. The previous council did a consistent job of taking contingency out, so we wouldn't have a number this big if it wasn't dedicated. I can't tell you off the top of my head what it is, but she was going to look it up.
So half of what we're dealing with is there are 3 members here. We're a new council for all intents and purposes, right? So there should be questions that we have
That's
to
why I
have
just
to
answered
get educated.
that. Yeah.
Just to get educated, if nothing else.
But I will tell you, when I get my packet, and I know we all have different times, but I get my packet, I sit down on Saturday and I go through everything and I, just like you, tab, mark, and I email Lori and say, when can we meet? And on Monday or Tuesday, I set a time where I come here and I have her or Julie answer every question that I have. So where I'm not saying, but where I'm not doing that during an open session. But like you said, I agree with, there are questions that, need to be answered publicly. We're not hiding anything, but a lot of it was for me to understand, what does this mean? How does this look? And I was able to do that with her prior to coming, which I think is what.
I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. My computer is not pulling the information that I'm exactly looking for, but I will write this down on the contingency to give you an update.
I remember the council members talked about last time, last year, year before, contingency.
So to answer your specific question about how is that money handled while it's sitting around not being spent, the finance report that I shared last month, the quarterly, shows all the different various accounts of money, which ones are in money market, which ones are in CEDAR, that sort of thing. Any money that we know that we're not spending this quarter or this 6 months, whatever, we put it in the highest yield item possible. So we want to have percentage that's, I'll call it liquid or available in case you need it right now.
I think that's excellent.
A certain percentage that, okay, we're working on this ARPA project, we're gonna spend all the rest of this money in 6 months, so I don't put that into a 26-week investment item.
So you
But so-
answered my question.
I couldn't tell you exactly which one this $77,000 is in,
I don't need
but
to know, just the fact that we have a process, and you pointed to Justin. Does he also do ACH transfers?
no.
You said we, you pointed to.
We counsel, make sure that money is well managed by, we wanted to earn interest, we wanted to earn as much as we
And
can.
those ladies came and talked to us about all the different.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm more specific and maybe OCD or whatever, but when you say council, that means this council met and said, you're going to move this money here, you're going to move this money there.
East
That's,
Simonton City Council has met previous to this group, and agreed, several, over the years, renew that agreement that our practice is going to be to work to get as much interest on everything we can. So, no, this council hasn't sat and talked about how much money is going into how much thing, but
okay.
that's just only because you've only been on a couple of months.
All right, and when we ever get back to that, I have questions on that too, but that's not for tonight. Thank God, right? Okay. We can move on, and honestly, leave that. We already talked about EDC fees. How separate is the accounting supposed to be for the EDC functions versus the city itself? We know that Newfirst separates the money, and they have an ICS and CRs for both EDCA, EDCB, correct? And then we actually get a check from the state, and somebody divides it up and deposits the money into their accounts, CRs, or ICS. That's how the process works.
Essentially.
Well, as Julie explained it to me, anyway. We did have a conversation. The question is that now the money belongs to the EDCs. They have full responsibility for how it's spent, right? Treasury, everything. Or is there something that I'm missing as far as them having total responsibility? Not us. We oversee them, of course.
Okay, I was gonna say, now the EDC doesn't make decisions without approval of council, but the budget does belong to each EDC. That's not optional. You can't just take money from the EDCs and put it somewhere else. So the couple of years that they have been inactive, that money,
It's still there.
for some things, was spent because it had been authorized, like the mowing, for example. Each EDC pays a portion of that. But they've also accrued that money by and large because they weren't working on projects. So as they work
So
on
they
their
have no-
budget, they will work on a budget based on the income for this next year. That's their actual budget. And then if they have capital improvement projects where they're going to spend the money that they have in reserve, then they'll decide what they want to do, and then the parameters that exist of what they need to bring to council for final blessing before that money gets committed.
Fantastic. So the only question then is, as part of the comprehensive plan, what is their function in taking parts of the comprehensive plan and either executing or taking responsibility for and asking for a budget for?
They don't actually have to ask for their budget because they know what their budget is, but they would say, we're going to spend $100,000 on this, then they would send that to council for approval. Council could say no, but typically, they've done the work and they make their presentation and a case for why they're doing what they're doing, if that makes sense.
Yes.
The council, the EDCs will have an update at the end of the reports.
Today? Excellent. That's it.
Okay, on item F, 4F, do we have a motion?
I move that we table this item until all questions are answered. 4F, that's what we just had, right?
All right, we have a motion. We have a motion to table. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I abstain.
Okay. All right, so I am at this table. All right, moving on to new business. Items A, B, and C related to the audit are all removed. We're removing those from the agenda. The audit is not fully prepared and ready to present today. I think I sent a note to council saying that Natalie was out of the country for her annual trip in June. And she's back now. We're working with her, but she's not quite ready for tonight. So our expectation is that we will see her in August at our regular meeting. Item D, consider and take action to approve the roadway clearance, pruning, and tree removals in Valley Lodge Section 1. We have one bid that's come back. We have 2 companies working on bids for that, so we will save that also for August. Since it's not an urgent need, but something that needs to be done for maintenance.
You said,
That-
I missed that, I'm sorry, I missed that council meeting, so they already added something to it, the ones in the
He asked if we would add the trees that are in the right-of-way, because there are a couple of trees specifically that he knew about that were not in the quote.
Okay, yeah.
We're also removing the trees. I know we talked about it, and we're going to approve only a portion last time for the trees that are not in the city limits. So the new quote from Yellowstone will include the removal of those, but the addition of the trees in the right-of-way that are in the city limits. We have a new bidder that has sent their bid over, but they're not both in, so we'll save that for the next year. Give them both time to make sure they're prepared with their bid. The EDCs, also, as a side note, can fund that, EDCB, if they were to choose. So we'll be presenting that to the EDC. And so the next time the council sees it, it could be that the EDC would fund that and it wouldn't come from the city budget. More to come. Item E is receive the July 2025 hardware life cycle report from Impress Computers. This is a quarterly update from Impress, and it kind of goes back to something we already discussed, and we will put some effort into while we're working on our budget. We have 5 hardware assets, meaning computers. There's workstations, 4 workstations and a printer. You can see that in the first page. The computers are all overdue and actually required in their report. What that really means is they're aging out. They're working fine. There's not an emergency to replace any of those computers at this time. On the second page, you'll see the items by name, who's using them, where they're located. The front desk computer, the last one in the list, is 8.8 years old, and that's the one that I shared cannot be updated to Windows 11 because it just won't support it. So once Microsoft quits supporting Windows 10 in, I think, October, it can still work, but it won't be supported and we'll have patches, and that could be a liability. So we'll address that in the budget as an item for replacement. And their last page is a recommendation that you could upgrade or update your computers by replacing them 1 a quarter. That doesn't mean we need to take that action. This is just the recommendation that they provided council with a hidden cost of old hardware. So that's strictly for your review.
Madam Mayor, oh, they're not here?
No.
Somehow I got the impression they would be.
Nope, and that's the report that I was saying. I gave it to you originally in black and white, and I didn't realize you couldn't tell what items were. Okay.
I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion that we approve their request to replace our equipment, because we need to replace our equipment. It may require a budget amendment, but we should not allow this equipment to stay the same as it is. Also, I was hoping that they would be here because there's questions on process and how they go about doing it, because it's very critical to both the work y'all trying to do at the time, and the whole thing needs to be planned out. So how do I word this motion? I want to approve that all equipment and technology needs to be replaced as recommended by Impress.
Okay. We need to put that in our budget first going forward.
Let me just capture what you said real quick. Do we have a second on the motion to replace all equipment as recommended by Impress Computers?
Do we have a total of what that would cost?
No.
Should we get that?
So they're on page 3 of that deck. I think that they recommended it's $1,000.
That's per
The
quarter.
sample budget. It's not the
Yeah.
actual quote, it's a sample.
So what they're
Okay,
saying is,
so-
okay.
So it's okay, but I have a request for a second. All right, so the motion dies for lack of a second.
This seems too cheap.
It is can I make a motion
So-
to follow his to actually get a quote on this and what the cost would be for us to replace the recommended hardware?
Second.
Okay,
Then we take action August next meeting.
Yeah, with the quotes. This would be, we want to get the quotes to potentially approve it.
$1,000 a station, that seems,
I think that's just an estimate. This is just a sample of what they can, to break something up, it's a rough number, just how you break it up by quarters, then have to pay it all one time.
all right, well, so we have a motion and a second to get quotes for replacement of the workstations at City Hall.
Would like to amend that motion?
We gotta take a vote first.
Madam Mayor?
You want to step in and help us make sure we do it properly, sir?
Yeah, so under Robert's Rules of Orders, though that's not fully adopted by the city, you can make an amendment, a motion to amend the motion. So what would your motion to amend the motion be?
My motion to amend the motion is to include not only the estimate of cost, but also the planning to execute as soon as possible. Planning required in their estimate to execute as soon as possible.
well, but let's be careful with that, because they may want money for that. I know our guys charge for that planning, plan all that out.
We have a contract.
I do too.
I'm sure this is included in the contract where they have to supply this type of information, or else we wouldn't be supplying it.
You're talking about a Gantt chart and doing all that stuff.
No, I'm not talking about a Gantt chart. It's a simple thing that our computer replacement on individual laptops and servers. The process by which they use may be more intense.
I'll just say for council, we haven't ever had them recommend something or provide something to us without a plan of how they're going to help us get them onboarded. So I'll make sure, since it's in the second
Yeah, so we need to take a
motion, to
second.
amend the motion. But
We need to
since the
take a
original motion
second.
is his, doesn't he have to?
No, so what we do is we take a second on the motion to amend the motion.
All right, do we have a second on the motion to amend the motion?
I don't think I understand exactly, yeah,
He wants
what
the
you're trying to
planning to be
do.
involved.
So the original motion is just say,
Correct,
Give us
to get a quote.
right,
I understand that.
in addition to trying to get this done, we want to amend the motion that says, and provide a plan for execution to do so as soon as possible. So that plan can be as simple as, hey, we won't use a quarter, we'll do it all in the month. As simple as that. Or as complex as a Gantt chart and a responsibility per person, if they wanted to make it complicated. Just a simple
So you just
thing.
want to get timeline,
Right.
okay. I would think that that would be something that they would get us in. I'll second that.
Thank Thank you.
Okay, so now we're taking a vote on the motion to amend the motion, and then we'll return to the primary motion and take a vote with the amendment, if it passes.
Okay, all in favor?
Of amend,
This is on the motion to amend the motion.
Motion to amend the motion.
Aye.
Okay. All opposed? Any abstain? I only have 3 votes.
No,
Oh. No vote?
Can you speak up?
You haven't said anything yet.
I'll go with it.
Thank you, it's unanimous. All right, so now we're back to, we had a first with Justin, a second with Eric on the original motion to get quotes for replacement of the workstations at City Hall. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, thank you, it's unanimous. All right, thank you, council, for that. Item 6 will adjourn to executive session. The City Council of the City of Simonton, Texas will convene in a closed executive session on the 15th day of July, 2025, beginning at 7:44 p.m.
State the purpose, Mayor.
Sorry, I have a typo on here, I need to change it real quick. The focus is section 551.071, consultation with legal counsel, and 551.074 regarding appointment, employment, and duties of the city secretary. Y'all are welcome to stay, wait for us out front, and we'll go back in session after the executive. All right. The City Council of the City of Simonton, Texas ended its closed executive session at 9:07 p.m. on the 15th day of July, 2025. Item 7, we will reconvene into open session. Item 8, consider and take action resulting from the executive session. Council, I would accept a motion.
Madam, I'd like to make a motion to extend an offer to the City Secretary, to Cheyenne Graham, and direct the mayor to negotiate and execute the terms of employment agreement.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That is unanimous. Thank you very much, council. I misnumbered the agenda, I'm just noticing, it says 1, but so the next item on the agenda is public information reports. This is information only, nothing to take action on, just keeping updated. Item 9, reports. Just want to share that the GLO mitigation, we call it the MITMOD grant, is moving along. The phase 1 kickoff stage has been completed. We're moving to the next stage where funding releases begin to happen. That is so that you can prepare for bids, so that work can be done for the environmental studies and the next steps that will go on. So that money will, once received by the city, will go into a dedicated grant fund. More to come. The bids are not expected to be issued until early 2026. Just reporting that committees are working on budgets. Council will be working on capital improvement recommendations. We have a schedule of when the required meetings and hearings will be happening. That's in its last approval stage with the county. And we'll publish that on our website and in meetings as reminders as that moves through the process. I wanted to propose to council to select a date for the first budget workshop. And also decide if council's preference going forward would be to have workshops on Tuesdays like we have council meetings or some other schedule. So my recommendation for the first budget workshop is either Saturday, August the 9th, or Tuesday, August the 12th.
August the 12th.
12.
All right, so we have a consensus for Tuesday, August the
I'll be
12th.
gone. Anyway, right.
Great. The frequency or the number of workshops needed we'll determine as we go. EDC-A and EDC-B are making plans for their next public meetings. Leadership is working on gathering information, and we're helping, so that they'll be prepared to talk about budget. They'll start working on what the budget remainders are for this year and what they want to plan for the next fiscal year. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to present the tree trimming project to them and see if that's something that EDCB would be interested in helping with. And they'll be working on their project lists for the next year. So if anyone has something they'd like to submit to an EDC, now is a great time to do that. We'll keep everybody posted when those public meetings are happening.
Can we ask a question for you?
Sure, go ahead.
You sound real sure with that one. So EDC, are they starting to do anything on the zone? I mean, what's our next step?
So zoning is separately from EDC, although they will have a big role in it.
Right.
We have a couple of referrals for companies that work with cities our size, and we're vetting those. Angela has offered to help.
Okay.
So
Already started that.
We'll be reporting back once we know more about some companies that are available and that seem like something to recommend to council.
Okay, perfect, thanks.
Is that all?
That's
you
all.
wanted to ask?
All right.
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. Council, anybody have a report? All right.
Report, no request.
Let me have a question, I'm sorry.
One second, Eric, if
Okay,
you don't
no
mind. Go ahead, ma'am.
We need to get our Keep Simonton Beautiful meeting scheduled on the agenda.
Okay.
We've missed the last 2 weeks. Can we go for Monday?
Yes. Yeah, we have enough time for posting for Monday. KSD. Kelly, do you have the date in mind?
Because you're at first.
I think it's 21st. 21st.
Monday the
Oh,
21st.
no, we're in July.
Monday's
21st.
All right, the next Keep Simonton Beautiful meeting will be this coming Monday, July 21st. Okay? Anything else for KSD while it's your turn?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Eric, did you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question actually, and it has to do with the agenda creation itself. How do we create the agendas? Because we did terminate Granicus, and the previous person was using Word, and so the city council terminated Granicus. So how are we doing this?
I'm doing it in Word.
Okay.
It is not very efficient.
Okay.
It was not my recommendation to quit with the software, but that's what we have right now, so we're doing it in Word.
And the contract with Granicus was indeed terminated?
I think we're starting to get too much towards deliberation.
Okay, no problem. I withdraw that question.
Thank you. Julie, any reports for Phil?
Yeah, so just, and I'll be bringing more legislative updates because 1 September is quickly approaching and there was quite a bit that our the last session resulted in. A couple that I'll just mention now. I'll start with the only positive one, depending on how you look at it. But for local governments, the threshold for sealed bid requirements went up to $100,000 from $50,000. 50,000, so that's good. Just the price of everything has gone up, so that has allowed a lot more flexibility for cities. There's some other statutes that still have the 50,000 threshold, so we're going to have to see if the part of the special session sort of cleans that up, or the AG's opinions on how those are still affected by it. But that's the kind of start point. The second one, probably the more interesting or more important one to realize. So the public notice requirements have now changed. It used to be, or it will be 72 hours until 1 September. Well, now the change in language is going to be for 3 days. Now, what does 3 days mean? Well, the day of the meeting does not count. Weekends do not count. Federal holidays do not count. And the day you post, you cannot post on day 1 of the 3 days, business days. You actually post, if you will, on day 0. So, as an example, if you're having a Monday evening meeting, you have to post by Tuesday night, the week before. So, again, that's the agenda must be posted. Now, the packets or supporting documents or the other things that you receive, all that doesn't have to be ready by that date. Just the items that are going to be deliberated on must be posted by Tuesday. So for us on Tuesday, it'd be Wednesday, if you look at that timeline. Unless Friday is a federal holiday, then we're back to Tuesday. So just note of that's going to create a bit more of a turnaround time on needing to get things posted. And we may have a lot of council meetings. Again, they have an item posted that just has to be pulled because it may have been ready in time, we don't know, because it's a week until the meeting, things like that. So just be aware of that. And that goes for so the EDCs as well, anyone subject to the Open Meetings Act is that it said called 3 business days, but business day does not include holiday, does not include weekend, and it does not include the day of the meeting. You cannot count that as day 3. So in essence, that's day 4. And so you post on day 0, 1, 2, 3, and then the meeting day.
So, if we have a meeting on Tuesday, we have to post when?
Wednesday.
No later than Wednesday.
Unless there's a holiday.
Right.
Oh, yes, it starts going back.
Thank you, Phil. I should
Yes.
appreciate that. And look forward to hearing more about the updates.
Yes, there'll be plenty more updates, and
Great. Okay, our next regular city council meeting will be on August the 5th here at City Hall at 6:30.
Madam Mayor, I think right now is the time I can ask for a reconsider of the previous items due to needing clarity of city responsibility. Those items would include from the June consent agenda, items I, J, K, and N.
so he's asking if those items be on the next agenda. Is in essence what he's asking.
Okay, just say again, if you would.
Okay, I have a motion to reconsider, and the motion is to review previous items due to needing clarity of city responsibility on items I, J, K, N of the June consent agenda.
Which meeting?
June,
We had 3 meetings in June. You're talking about the regular meeting?
yes ma'am.
Okay. And these are items that were previously approved by council
In a consent
in
agenda.
consent agenda.
Right.
And we want to just review them?
What?
Or what are we?
Philip, you need help me because I'm going to go over the line.
Right, so is it full reconsideration, meaning taking another vote on whether or not to approve, or is the intent of the agenda item to just have a discussion on those items, and so council can better understand what those items are?
I think it's the latter. More
Okay.
than anything, no one had a chance to review and investigate the requirements of the city within those documents. It threw in a consent agenda and it went through. I didn't.
I think
If no one-
maybe if you are speaking for yourself, right?
Right, and
Because
that's,
the other council already voted on it.
and then,
But the education and the information would be absolutely no problem. I just want to clarify what you're asking for.
We voted on it. All of us.
That's
I did
right.
too. And
Yeah.
approved this consent agenda.
That's right.
So I'm asking to reconsider these items only because we need clarity of the city responsibilities.
Right, and again, I just want to make sure what the agenda item will be, because this is a discussion of what the agenda item will be. Is it to re-vote, in essence, bring it back for vote, which means it could be denied or could be approved, or is it just to be brought up in the meeting so everyone can sit down and have a chance to look at it again?
The term I used was clarity. That means we want to have a chance to look at it and discuss it again.
Perfect, okay.
Okay, thank you for restating that so I could get you right.
So that's I through what?
I, J, K, and N.
So it's on the green.
It's the green. Okay, thank you, I got it.
So,
Yeah, did we vote on that?
well, it was a motion to be added. If we want to carry the motion forward, we can. Mayor agrees to put it on, it'll be on. You can withdraw the motion, it's just asking for it to be on. But if you want to guarantee it to be on, you can finish the motion. And so that's kind of how that process works.
So it's up to the mayor right now whether we,
No, you've made the motion, so
Okay.
we call for a second.
okay.
Or
Or you
the
can
mayor
withdraw it.
says it'll be on, you can withdraw it.
Right.
It's kind of- Yeah, oh, sorry, yeah, I understand.
Oh, well, yes, I said it will be on.
You said it will be on? Huh?
Yes, I did.
I'll withdraw the motion.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Okay, now we're on to item 11, adjournment at 9:21. Thanks, everybody. I will see you on August the 5th.